I rise today to speak to Division 13 of Bill C-19, the Budget Implementation Act, which advances the Senate modernization agenda, which was initiated by this government in 2016, moving toward a more independent Senate. It includes amendments to the Parliament of Canada Act and other changes. Division 13 recognizes the steps that have been taken toward independence in our upper chamber and reinforces this direction by making key changes, changing the annual allowances for Senate leadership positions and requiring that leaders of all recognized groups in the Senate are to be consulted on the appointment of certain officers and agents of Parliament. Colleagues, as we know, these amendments are not new. They were initially introduced as Bill S-4 in the Senate last year and again as S-2 after the 2021 election, and then in the other place as C-7, and then were incorporated by the government into this bill, the Budget Implementation Act. They follow from significant rule changes within the Senate since 2016 to recognize groups other than the government and official opposition. Many of our colleagues have worked very hard to achieve these changes, and I especially want to thank all Senate leaders, and in particular our leaders, Senator Wu and Senator Saint-Germain, for the very hard work they have done over the years, as well Senator Harder and Senator Gould for taking us to this point. My goal today is to speak very briefly about this evolving Senate, and also about how Canadians view our upper chamber. During my 30-year career in the public opinion business, I've had the opportunity to study and analyze and consult Canadians on the many proposals that were advanced over these years to achieve Senate reform. In 1987, the Meech Lake Accord included, in a short list of provisions, a clause giving the provinces the ability to submit names to the Prime Minister to fill Senate spots. That accord died in 1990. In 1992, the Charlottetown Accord included, in its much longer list of provisions, clauses to implement a Triple E Senate, a Senate that would be elected, equal, and effective. That accord died on the heels of a national referendum, which failed that year. And in 2011, Prime Minister Harper introduced legislation with term limits for senators and proposals to allow the provinces to hold Senate elections. And that reform also died when the Supreme Court ruled in the 2014 reference that such changes would require constitutional amendments. Mr. Harper knew then, as we still know now, how difficult it is to change the Constitution. In fact, a recent Environics poll showed that only 35% of Canadians would be willing to reopen the Constitution for the purpose of making changes to the Senate. A lot more public support than that, and a lot more, would be needed before we would go down that road again. So, colleagues, in my lifetime, the only major Senate reform that has truly succeeded has been Prime Minister Trudeau's initiative toward creating an independent Senate. Now, I want to make a few observations about public opinion and to talk a little bit about what Canadians think about this Senate, and to say, first of all, that we still have challenges with the way the public views our Senate overall. In national public opinion research conducted by Nanos Research last year, I tried to dig into the weeds and to understand what are the sources of the remaining sources of public dissatisfaction with our chamber. And among the number of Canadians who hold a negative view of the Senate, here are the reasons they give for why they view us negatively. Some are critical because we're not elected and they would prefer to have an elected Senate. Others are critical because they say the Senate is still too partisan. Yet others still point to the scandals of many years past. But the single most important critique is that they don't see that we provide value for money. They don't exactly know what we do. They think maybe we cost too much. They're not quite sure. And that really emerges as the most important of all these critiques. Colleagues, we have not told our story of our hard work, of our purpose, and of our sober second thought. We haven't told that story very well, and we must continue to do a better job at that. However, when it comes to the independent Senate, we see a lot of positive feedback from Canadians. In the NANO survey from last year, there is widespread approval of the new Senate appointment process that has been in place since 2016. 80% of Canadians think it's a good change for the Senate, a good development, that new senators sit as independent members and are not active in a political party. As well, 67% think that the open application process to become a senator is a good change for the Senate, and 79% say it's a good change for the Senate that an independent board reviews applications for the Senate. And most importantly, colleagues, Canadians want future governments to keep building an independent Senate. 3/4 of Canadians, 76%, want future governments to keep the changes to the appointment process that have been implemented, and only 3% of Canadians want to return to the previous ways of appointing senators. So, colleagues, we still have work to do. We must keep building awareness of the Senate's unique role in governance, and we must keep building awareness of the move toward independence and nonpartisanship. When awareness of the independent Senate increases, so do positive attitudes. And I'll conclude by saying the reforms promoting independence are a very, very bright light for our institution. Division 13 of Bill C-19 is an important and vital step toward recognizing our independent Senate and recognizing it into the future, and I will be voting yes. Thank you. Merci.